Hey, boys and girls, welcome back. I know that earlier I read you a story about the life cycle of a plant. Well, this is one of my favorite books by Eric Carle called The Tiny Seed. Now, it tells a story about how a seed travels through all of the seasons and how it avoids being trampled on by playing children, running dogs, and all kinds of life that goes on. I want you to pay close attention to the beautiful pictures that you're going to see in this selection. All right? It is written by Eric Carle and it's called The Tiny Seed. It's kind of long, so bear with me. It is autumn. Another word for autumn is fall. Those are called synonym words. A strong wind is blowing, and it blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? Look at the wind blowing the seeds. You know, in West Texas, our wind is pretty strong, so it could blow those seeds like that. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts, so the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds just fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. Can you pick out the tiny seed? Look, he's way over here. As you know, a seed needs light and sun and warmth to be able to grow. And when it lands on an icy mountain and the ice and the snow don't melt, it's not going to get any warmth, so it cannot grow. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. Look here, you can see the seed falling into the water. Remember, it can't just sit in the water. It's got to have dry sun, light, and warmth to be able to grow. There's our little tiny seed. It's just barely above the ocean. I like that big fish. One seed drifts down into the desert. It is hot and dry. The seed cannot grow. If a desert is hot and dry, remember it needs water. It needs rain or somebody to sprinkle it with a water hose. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with all the others. Here's the one that lands in the desert. And with no rain, no water, it cannot grow. There's our little tiny guy right there. Oh no, there he is right there. Finally, the wind stops and the seeds fall gently on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed, but the tiny seed is not eaten. He is so small that the bird doesn't see it at all. Look, there's our bird eating the seeds. Here's some more right over here. Look at that teeny seed. He is too small for that bird to see. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down and they look just as if they're going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still and the mouse doesn't see him. We're losing a lot of seeds. Here's the tiny seed and there's the mouse. Now it is spring. Spring to me is a season of new life because that's when the baby birds are coming out. That's whenever the grass starts changing, the leaves come out on the trees. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, rain falls. The seeds grow so round and full, they start to burst open a little. Now they are not seeds anymore. They are plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and air. Remember our life cycle? There is another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It is a big fat weed, and it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants, and that little plant dies. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. it will be too late. Hurry! But finally, it starts to grow into a plant. Right here, see, this is the one that's covered up by the weed. He's not getting any sun or water, so it dies. There's our tiny little seed starting to grow. Here's our life cycle. We started as a seed. Here's our roots, and it pushes up out of the ground. There's our stem and the leaves. The rain is falling. The sun will come out later. The warm weather also brings children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and for springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and oh, he breaks one. And now it cannot grow anymore. So if you're planting things, you've got to make sure you're not stepping on them and keep them well protected. Maybe with a little fence. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is now growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, it now has a bud and even a flower. But what is happening? First, there are footsteps. Then a shadow looms over them. Then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. What do you think is going to happen now? Do you think a new flower will bloom? Let's check and see. A boy has picked the flower to give to a friend. Almost like when y'all are outside and you see little flowers and you pick them and take them to mom or to grandma. Sometimes they don't smell very good, but mom and grandma love them anyway. It is summer now. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on, and it doesn't stop. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves now, and it grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than the houses. That can't happen, y'all. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this beautiful flower. It is the tallest flower they've ever seen. It is giant. Okay, guys, we know that part's fiction. The rest of it is not, however. There is no way that little flower could grow way past your house. But it is beautiful. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come to visit, and they have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. Look, they're pollinating. They're going to be taking this stuff out, and they're going to carry it around. Remember, they drop it in their droppings. Birds eat them, and the cycle will start again. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. Fall is a season of change. That's when the leaves start falling off the trees. They fall from your flowers. The wind blows harder, and the flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time, the tiny flower seeds, pods open, and out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away in the wind. So this was once our tiny little seed, is now has his own little seeds that the wind is blowing along. And that is another way to look at the life cycle of our plant. I love this little book, and I love the way that it starts as the tiny seeds, and then it ends again as the tiny seeds blowing away to start new plant life. I love springtime. I can't wait for my peaches to get bigger. I hope that I can show y'all some pictures of that. But I want you to remember, a surprise is coming along next week, or this week, excuse me, so that way you can do some plants of your own. So be watching and make sure you let us know how you like the activities. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you. See ya.